So welcome to the third session on line integrals. So in this video we will see what is a line integral. Actually it's nothing but, so it's an integral where a function needs to be integrated, that is evaluated along a curve. So that's how one can say in a short phrase, this is an integral where the function needs to be integrated is evaluated along a curve. And then we'll see some 2-3 problems on how to solve line integrals, and then we'll observe one nice fact that the line integrals are path dependent. And so that's what we are going to see in today's session. So how do you define line integral? So how do you define a line integral? That's the question. So now suppose f is a field. Now f can either be a scalar field or it can either be a vector field. So suppose your f is a scalar field. Scalar field means what? Your f is a function from D. What is your D? Your domain will be some subset of Rn to real number. Since output is a real number, that's why we call it as a scalar field. So if you have a scalar field, that means what? Like D is something over here. This is my R. This is my F. And suppose I want to integrate this along a curve. So suppose this is my curve C. If I want to integrate along this curve, so what I will do first thing is, I will first of all parameterize this curve. So what I will do is I will try to parameterize this curve. Means I will try to define a function R from say A to B, and T is my parameter. That's why it is a parameterized curve. So T is called as a parameter. So I try to define a function from this AB such that the image of this function R is nothing but this curve. So evaluating a function over the curve is same as you take over this domain T. Why? Because any point T, so this is what, any point over here can be obtained from this function by putting the value of T. So I want to integrate f over the curve. This is the standard notation. F is a scalar field, C is my curve, ds is the small increment because it comes by using Riemann theory. So I'm not going into that detail, but that is the ds. So one can take this as a standard notation of a line integral. So this is nothing but, so I'm evaluating over a curve, but then this curve is obtained from here. So it's kind of a composition, f compose R. So what is this? This is nothing but f of R of t into mod of R dash of t dt, and t is going from A to B. So over a curve I don't know how to solve, but definitely over a segment I know how to solve. Recall our first lecture. So over a segment I know how to solve that line. I know how to solve the integral. So t is from A to B, f of R of t into mod of R dash of t. And if f is a vector field, and if suppose your f is a vector field, that means what? F is a function, so your domain is somewhere in Rn and output is again a vector. That's why it is called as a vector field. So if you have a vector field, then if I want to integrate my curve over dr, it is nothing but, or ds, whatever, it is nothing but same thing, f of R of t. But since my f is a vector, so this is a vector, so here I won't take the mod, I take the dot product, and my t is going from A to B. The same thing is happening which was happening in the previous case. Your f was a function, you have some curve over here, this is my curve C. You try to define a parameterization, or you parameterize the curve. So you try to define a function where t can be anything from A to B. So evaluating a function over the curve is same as you evaluate over here because of that composition, because the image, this is an onto map, or image of R is nothing but C. So evaluating a function over curve is same as you evaluate over here, that means f of R of t, and you take the dot product with R dash of t, the derivative comes into picture. And when you take this dot product, I get something, a scalar quantity over here, and then I can do my normal integration. I know how to do this integration over a segment. So this is how you deal with if you have a scalar field and a vector field. So now let's take an example so that the concept will be much more clear. So if I take a vector field, so f is a vector field, as you can see x and y are the inputs, and what is the output? Y square comma minus x square. So one can say that f is a vector field from R2 to R2, so that is my vector field, and I have to find the line integral or the curve integral over this curve. Now what is the curve? Curve is y equal to 4x square. So as I go from 0 to 1, my y will be 0 to 4. So I have to evaluate over this curve. Okay, so now what is the first thing we do? We do is the parameterization. We parameterize this curve. So what is r of t? So as I told you, as we saw in our previous lecture, that if I want to parameterize this, I will take the help of the equation. So what is given to me? Y equal to 4x square. So if I put x equal to t, what will be my y? My y will be 4t square. And what is the domain or the range for t? My t will go from 0 to 1. As you can see, when my t is 0, it is 0 comma 0. So it is this point of the curve. And when my t is 1, it is 1 comma 4. It is this point of the curve. It's a continuous function because both the components are continuous. So that's one thing. Okay, so now what is the line integral? So for that line integral, I will need the derivative. How you take derivative of this? You take the component wise. So derivative of t is 1 and derivative of 4t square is 8t. Okay, now what is line integral? What is the curve integral? F dot dr is nothing but t is running from a to b, f of r of t dot product with r dash of t dt. So I have r dash of t. Now what I want is I want f of r of t. So what is f of xy? F of xy is y square minus x square. So what is f of r of t? It is f of, what is r of t? T comma 4t square. What is f of xy? Y square comma minus x square. So what is f of t comma 4t square? It will be square of the second component, comma minus of square of the first component, So this is my f of r of t. So I have f of r of t, I have r dash of t. Now what is my integrand? My integrand is nothing but the dot product. So now if I take the dot product of this two things, 16t4 minus 8t cube. So what is the dot product? So therefore, what is my line integral? It is f dot dr. T is running from 0 to 1. It was, what is r dash of t? My r dash of t was 1 comma 8t. This was my r dash of t. So if I take the dot product, 16t raised to 4 minus 8t cube dt. And if I solve this, it will be 16t raised to 5 upon 5 minus 2. So this is nothing but 6 by 5. So this is the line integral. If I go from 0 0 to 1 comma 4 through a parabolic path. Okay, now what if I change my path? So instead of choosing a parabolic path, so initially we went as a through parabola, but instead of taking a parabolic path, let's take a straight path. So let's do along this path C. Suppose now this is my curve. So it's a straight line. How do you parameterize a straight line? As we saw in my previous lecture, it is nothing but a into 1 a plus b minus, or 1 minus t into a plus t into b, where t runs from 0 to 1. This is how you parameterize a segment. If you are not comfortable with the parameterization, my suggestion will be you please see my previous lecture on parameterization. Okay, now let's put the values. R of t, 1 minus t into a. What is my a? 0 comma 0 plus t into what is b? 1 comma 4. So this goes away. So this is nothing but t comma 4t. So this is the parameterization for this segment. And as you can see, when my t is 0, it is 0 comma 0. When my t is 1, it is 1 comma 4. So I am getting all the points on this line. Okay, so now what will be my r dash of t? R dash of t will be 1 comma 4. What is my f of r of t? My f of r of t was 16t cube comma 8t. This was my f of r of t. So now once I have my let's check this. What was my f of r of t? it is 16t4 minus t square, right? It's 16t4. So this was our f of r of t. So when you take the dot product, what is f of r of t? Dot product with r dash of t is nothing but 16t raised to 4 minus 4t square. And now if I integrate this, or if I do the line integral along this curve, what is the curve? Along the straight line, what will I get? Integral c f dot dr, t is from 0 to 1, 16t raised to 4 minus 4t square dt, which is nothing but 16 by 5 minus 4 by 3. And if you see, when you solve this, what a number you get? This is what? 48 minus 20 by 15, 28 by 15. Provided my calculations are correct, my suggestion will be you please go through the calculations once again. So when I do this integral along the curve, I get 28 upon 15. And as you can see, both the things are not same, and therefore line integral is what? Line integral is path dependent. Okay, so what is the conclusion? Conclusion is line integral is path dependent. So therefore choosing a path is important. But then obviously one can ask few questions. Then when will be the line integral path independent? Means, is there any condition on f? If we put some condition of on my vector field, then will my line integral be path independent? Answer is yes, there are some conditions, and that we are going to see in our next session. But now let's conclude this lecture by taking one last example of a scalar field. So we played with the vector field. Now let's play with the scalar field. So now suppose if I take some example, let's take something random. So suppose if I take f to be f of x y z as 3x plus y plus 5z, and suppose I'm giving you r of t. My curve is something like this: t comma, let's take hyperbolic functions. Let's take hyperbolic functions, so that many things will be covered in this one example. And what is my t? T is from 0 to 1. So I have to evaluate this integral over this curve. Okay, now what is r dash of t? 1 comma sine hyperbolic t, and this is nothing but cos hyperbolic t. So this is my r dash of t. Since it's a scalar field, I need to take the modulus of r dash of t. It is square root of 1 square plus sine hyperbolic square t plus cos hyperbolic square t. So like for sine and cos, we know that cos square plus sine square is 1. But in hyperbolic, the relation is cos hyperbolic square minus sine hyperbolic square is 1. That means what? 1 plus sine hyperbolic square is nothing but, so this two term is nothing but cos hyperbolic square t plus this as it is. Because for hyperbolic functions, the relation is cos hyperbolic square plus minus sine hyperbolic square equal to 1. And this is nothing but root 2 cos t. So this is my mod of r dash of t. Okay, now what I need to find else? I need to find f of r of t. What is f of r of t? It is nothing but, wherever you have x, y, z, you replace x by this, y by this, z by this. So what do I have? I have 3t plus cos t plus 5 sine hyperbolic t. So this is my f of r of t, and I have mod of r dash of t. You simply multiply, that is my line integral. So what is my line integral? So line integral is nothing but integral of c f dot ds or dr. T is running from 0 to 1, and you simply multiply. So it is nothing but 3t cos hyperbolic t 5 sine hyperbolic t multiply by root 2 cos hyperbolic t dt. You take this inside, it will be 3 root 2 integration t is from 0 to 1 t times cos hyperbolic t dt plus root 2 t is from 0 to 1 cos square t dt plus 5 root 2 integration 0 to 1 sin hyperbolic t into cos hyperbolic t dt. So this is what I get when you multiply it inside. And now it's easy, now it's not that difficult. Okay, I will give you an idea on how to solve this question. You can solve this question and tell me the answer. So here you can apply your normal integration by parts. This, you take this as your u and take this as your v, and derivative of cos hyperbolic is sin hyperbolic, and derivative of sin hyperbolic is cos hyperbolic. So same for the integration. Integration of cos hyperbolic is sin hyperbolic, and integration of sin hyperbolic is cos hyperbolic. So this you can now easily do by parts. Here, what is cos square theta? It is, if you remember, it is 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. The same thing works here as well. What is cos square t? It is 1 plus cos 2t by 2. The double angle formula which you have for sine cosine, the same is there for hyperbolic as well. So cos square t is 1 plus cos 2t by 2. Similarly, cos square t is 1 plus cos 2t by 2. And here it will be, and now you can integrate, right? 1 by 2 integration is t, and cos integration is sin 2t upon 2. So even now this is done, this is done. Now left is this. This is nothing but 5 root 2 upon 2 into integration 0 to 1. I'm just multiplying and dividing by 2. So here 2 sin t cos t. You know that 2 sin t cos t is sin 2t. The same relation is here as well. What is 2 times sin hyperbolic t into cos hyperbolic t is nothing but sin hyperbolic 2t dt. So now this is what cos hyperbolic 2t upon t. You put the value, so even this integral can be solved now, and you add them, you get a number. So that's how you solve line integral or the curve integral if you have a scalar field. I took this bad curve because, so that you can also play with cos hyperbolic and sin hyperbolic, and I hope now the relations of cos hyperbolic and sin hyperbolics are clear. Make sure to solve this example so that you will be comfortable with the hyperbolic functions. So yeah, that's how you solve line integral for a vector field and for a scalar field. If you have any concerns or any doubts, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you.